Welcome back to the Name Redacted podcast, America's most beloved podcast, the most downloaded Red Sox podcast in the world. No Pat tonight. Tyler's out. It's me, Pete, and Jake. Going back to our roots, just me and Pete. The old Section 10 days in Waltham, the basement.
I like this producer better. I'll just say that right off the top.
Have you seen Steve this year?
Yeah, I've seen him a few times.
Up on the Monster. Yeah.
Yeah, a couple times. And then we hung out one night without you. That was a while ago, though. That was after a Bruins game.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. No, it was a good time. We had fun. Good time.
You guys just hang out. It is what it is.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah. I just threw a tweet out before we started recording because I was like, what did me and Pete talk about when we just did the podcast back in the day? And I was like, oh yeah, we used to do like a bunch of like listener questions. So I threw a tweet out for people to ask questions, and I'm just gonna let that fill up a little bit, and then we'll get to that in a little bit. But for now, the Boston Red Sox played a 2-game series in Cincinnati. Who fucking cares? I mean, who fucking cares? I mean, Pete
certainly not me.
Yeah, no, Pete didn't watch the games. I mean, I watched the games, but like, who fucking cares? Jake's a 162 guy. Jake, I'll ask you, is there anything that you cared about in that series?
I mean, not really. A couple good hits today. I mean, I was watching, but I wasn't locked in.
Yeah. It's hard. I mean, like, think about all the people that have probably tuned out of the Red Sox right now. I mean, it's football season.
Sure. Like, I'm out. I decided like a week or two ago, I'm just like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing the games. I'm giving up on the 30. Obviously, we're not getting there. It's mathematically impossible now. Like, I'm kind of just fully out.
What are you at?
14.
So 16 paintballs?
Correct.
Are you planning on lowering that number?
Maybe like once or twice. It's not gonna be significant.
So like, regardless, you're gonna be eating double-digit paintballs this year.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Do you regret the decision?
Do I regret the decision? No. I mean, it was really good. It was really good content. Really kind of like got people on me a little bit and gave me a reason to get to Fenway 14 times. Like, I wouldn't have gone 14 times. Right. So it was a nice little kick in the pants to get to Fenway as much as possible. But I wish I knew the team was going to be this bad.
Yeah, they're horrible.
I'll say that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not has not been a good year. Hasn't been fun. It continues to get less fun. The last podcast that we did, if you haven't listened yet, we had Kevin Plawecki on the podcast, and we sat down with Plawecki for like a full hour. Got his side of the story, talked about the good times, the bad times, everything in between. Shout out to everyone who downloaded that episode. It's been a struggle. It's been a struggle to talk about this fucking team this year. Like, we've said it a million times, but it's like, all right, you had June was the only good month, and it wasn't even a full month because it came crashing down right at the end of June on June 28th. Every month has sucked. I mean, even this month, like, I couldn't tell you offhand like what the Red Sox record is. Like what do you think the Red Sox record is this month? Are they 500? Like, do you think they have a winning record this month?
I'd say
no.
Blind guess, like 3 games under 500.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Which for them is good. Like, I'll take that. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's just you're in baseball purgatory watching this team because the games don't mean anything. Sometimes they win and sometimes they lose. Like, they're never going to get on a run of like winning 7 straight. And then you're like, fuck yeah. I mean, they've done that this year, I believe. I think they've had like a winning streak that long this year. But at this point, like, the winning streaks aren't going to be long. The losing streaks aren't that long either. But they're about to enter, I don't want to call it a world of pain. Maybe that is accurate. The schedule to finish out the year. Like, right now, like, we're going to be talking about, I feel like instead of just like the stop and shop look ahead, I feel like a big chunk of the podcast is going to be talking about this series coming up and what it means. It doesn't really mean anything for either team. Like, the Yankees are going to the playoffs, the Red Sox are not. But it's going to be very funny talking about the home run chase. The Red Sox finished the year with 4 in New York. Baltimore comes here for 4. Then they go to Toronto for 3. And then they finish out the season at home with 3 against Tampa. So it's nothing but AL East opponents for the rest of the season. And we all know the Red Sox have not done a great job against the American League East this year. But one thing I wanted to hit on before we got all baseballsy was this morning. This morning I woke up, and last night Aaron Judge hit his 60th home run of the season. And I don't know how you feel, either of you, about this. Like, the Yankees were, so Aaron Judge was not going to get another at bat. Like, they were in the bottom of the eighth. They were already up a bunch of runs. Like, he wasn't going to come up again. And then they scored a ton of runs. And Aaron Judge got an at bat, surprisingly, in the eighth inning when no one expected him to get an at bat. So I flip over to the Yankees game and I'm like, I'm fucking into this. Like, I turned it up loud, and I even I put my phone down because last night when I was watching the games, I don't know who was there. I think it might Heyman or whoever. They tweeted number 60 for Aaron Judge, and it was like a full 10 seconds before it showed up on TV. So I was like, I want to, if it happens, if 61 happens, I want to be surprised. Like, I want to see it in the moment. Like, it ruins it when you are watching it live, but you still know that it's coming. Like, that sucks. Like, that's happened a couple times with Pujols, where I have the Cardinals game on and I'm watching Pujols, and then you just see it pop up 697 for Pujols. I'm like, fuck. Like, I want to see that shit. I want to be surprised by it. So I was pretty locked in on Aaron Judge tonight, and I tweeted something to the effect of, I think the coolest thing about Aaron Judge's season this year is that he got on a 60 home run pace in April, and then everyone was like, oh fuck, is he going to break Maris's record this year? Like, that storyline developed so early in the year, and then a lot of those storylines where it's this guy's on pace to do this and this guy's on pace to do that, those fizzle out in a month. And Aaron Judge, which we're talking about a record that, you take out Sosa. Sosa hit fucking 60 home runs in 3 straight seasons. And obviously Mark McGwire and Barry Bonds hit 70 plus. But you take out those, and it's Babe Ruth hit 60. And then in 1961, Maris hit 61. And then 22 is 61 years later. And Aaron Judge is 1 home run away from tying Maris at 61. So yeah, he's a Yankee, and maybe I would feel differently if the Red Sox and Yankees were closer in the division race. Maybe I wouldn't be as ooh, this is exciting. Let me sit down and put it on and whatever. Maybe I'd be more fuck them. Who gives a shit? I don't know how I would feel. I can't tell you how I'd feel because we're not in that position. The Red Sox are not making the postseason, and they're in last place. So I tweeted I think it's pretty cool that we almost they almost told us in April, hey, Aaron Judge is going to break Roger Maris's record this year. And then we kind of just got to watch it while he had 19 homers. We were yeah, he's going to hit 60 something home runs this year. That's pretty cool. So he did that. And then I woke up this morning, and I was telling Jake this when he was at my apartment earlier. I was well, I woke up, I had barely even opened my eyes. And the first thing I do is check Twitter, and someone said oh man, what would Babe Ruth do if he had the training methods of today? So I my first thought before even really processing what day it was, what I had to wake up for, what I had to do that day, was quote tweeting this tweet. Can you imagine what he would do today with access to training and nutrition like today's athletes have? And I said, Babe Ruth was an alcoholic slob who would be in the exact same shape, if not worse, if he had access to today's training methods. He was a lazy fat tits who played when fastballs were 75 miles per hour, ground rule doubles counted as home runs, and never saw a slider in his life. That tweet, 323 replies and 162 quote tweets as of this recording. And people were mad. People were mad about this tweet, Pete. And I don't know why.
All those people definitely just had to love Babe Ruth because they grew up watching him.
Yeah, there was obviously a lot of old people that took exception. It was very funny to see how many people over the age of fucking 65 are on Twitter. I'm not even that's not even a joke or a slight at the people that were I was looking at their profile pictures and they were old as fuck. People were pissed about this tweet. which a lot of it is tongue in cheek, but a lot of it I do actually believe. Like, I think
you didn't even mention like one of the other like really important parts.
Yeah, he only played against white dudes.
He just didn't play against black people. Like,
yeah,
this guy was a fraud.
Yeah, I mean it's one of the points that gets used against Babe Ruth a lot, but like Babe Ruth not only did like he never played against anyone of color. Back in those days, like they didn't even have to really travel. Like they traveled by fucking train, but they didn't have to do like these like West Coast trips, and like it wasn't as grueling. And like, you know, people, you can make that case about a lot of people. Like people will say that about like fucking Ted Williams. Like they didn't have lefty specialists to come in and dice up Ted Williams in like the later innings. Like, okay, that's fine. But the number of people that came to the defense of Babe Ruth today was jarring. I mean, he would be stoked to know like, hey, after like 100 years after I'm done playing, people are still going to be defending Babe Ruth. And like,
they're going to ride
like,
for Babe Ruth forever.
Yeah, Babe Ruth, he used to out homer entire teams back then. Like back then, they didn't even fucking like really establish what the rules of baseball were. Like they probably thought that home runs were bad. It's like, oh man, like we fucking lost another ball. Like we're trying to put the ball on the ground so we don't have to go down to the fucking store or like the leather shop and go make some more baseballs. It just was a completely different game. Like you can't tell me that like Babe Ruth hit more home runs than entire teams combined, that if he played today, that he would just hit like hundreds of home runs and out homer entire teams. Like, that's just not happening.
It's almost the same case in every sport where like if you played more than 40, 50 years ago, hell, like 30 years ago, you're going to get absolutely cooked by like the fucking worst player in the league right now. And that applies in so many different ways, but like especially in baseball, I think, because like these dudes were not athletic. They were just like throwing fucking little cupcakes down the pipe, and these dudes were swinging out of their shoes every time.
Yeah.
And now if they played anybody in Major League Baseball right now, they would be like, this person's a fucking wizard. How the hell is this guy throwing 1 billion miles an hour?
Yeah.
And what chance do I have to hit this?
And people are like, well, you think that Babe Ruth wouldn't adjust to today's velocity and all that? Yeah, he might, but he's definitely not going to be.
He would not. He would not.
Yeah,
he would.
And they're like, well, the thing that you said about 75-mile-per-hour fastball is not true. Like Walter Johnson threw 90, and I was like, okay, one dude,
and like
we don't even know that.
The fact that you can like, that you can identify one guy who did it and his name is not familiar is not a promising sign. No. And did you ever see the documentary Fastball? I did not.
So there was a documentary called Fastball. It came out probably like 10 years ago at this point. And they were talking about like fastball velocity and the evolution of the fastball and all that. And way back when, because they obviously didn't have radar guns, they used to measure a pitcher. I don't know if it might have been Walter Johnson. I can't remember. It was one of those like old school, like I threw hard in black and white footage. And they measured the fastball by having him throw a pitch on the highway as a motorcycle was riding by. And they were like, well, the motorcycle was going 85 and the pitch beat it by like 0.8 of a frame, so we can calculate that was an 87-mile-an-hour fastball, or however the fuck they did it. But it was literally he threw a fastball on the highway next to a motorcycle riding past him at the same time. And they're like, well, that's our proof. So
that is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's how they measured fastball velocity back then. But yeah, I mean, like I feel like just like part of my, I want to say it's part of my shtick, but like I truly feel this way. So it's not really a shtick. I think I go in super hard on Babe Ruth, like as part of the shtick, but at the same time, like I do feel that way about Babe Ruth. Like people blow him too much. People blow this guy too much.
I do love that somebody, more than I love you waking up to people being mad about you being a Babe Ruth hater.
Yeah,
I love the idea of old people waking up this morning and logging onto Twitter to defend the honor of Babe Ruth in the year of our Lord 2022.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I just like when Madison Bumgarner gave up the home run to Max Muncy, and then Muncy like pimped it and he said, "Get that out of the fucking ocean" or something like that.
That was the best.
After the game, a reporter asked Muncy, asked Mad Bum. They were like, "Why do you just like, whatever happened to like let the kids play, and why do you take exception to people like pimping homers and like having fun?" And he was like, "Honestly, I just can't help it." He's just like, I can't, like, there's just something genetically in me that is designed to hate that type of baseball. And for me, there's just something in me that I just can't help it. I won't let Babe Ruth's legacy be squeaky clean and not be questioned and not be criticized. Like, I shouldn't care about this. He's dead. He's been dead for a long time. I never saw him play, not even close. I don't know why I feel as strongly as I do about hating Babe Ruth. I fucking hate him. Maybe it's just, I don't know. I almost feel like I'm more confused why people aren't thinking the same way as me on this subject, because I think what it boils down to is, like, you know how generations will argue about music, where like if you grew up in the 70s, like you're going to be like, yeah, like back in my day, like my fucking, like you're talking about like Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd, and like in the 60s we had the Beatles, like music was just better back then. But you would have people argue like, yeah, Bruno Mars is better, and Taylor Swift, and people will argue about like generationally that way. That's how I feel in the argument about Babe Ruth. Is like, what I'm trying to say is that today's players are just so much better than they were back. Like, that's an objective fact. Like, baseball players today are just so much better than they were when Babe Ruth played. Like, and people will say, well, the original tweet, if he had access to better training methods and this and that, he would be just as good. Says who? He just happened to play during a time where other players, like, they had to have fucking second jobs.
Yeah, they were working drive-through window during the day.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, it's impossible to know. Like, you can't say it for a fact.
I can't rule it out.
You can't rule it out, but they can't say it for a fact either. Like, it's just nobody's ever gonna know. He played in his era. He was great in his era, but he would get fucking waxed if he stepped up to the plate right now. Yeah,
it's hard. Holy shit. That tweet's been up for 18 minutes. It has 140 replies. I was almost like afraid to tweet it. I was like, we're probably going to get like 10 responses, and they're all going to be stupid questions.
Just as long as they're not baseball related. Get them out of here.
Yeah. I mean, with 140 replies in, what did I say? 18 minutes. Let's do a couple right now. Well, let's sprinkle them in. We don't have to do like a whole segment where we take questions.
Okay.
Yeah, let's sprinkle some in. But first, Blue Moon. So you're out on Friday, right, Pete?
I am out on Friday.
Out on Friday. Are you going to be drinking Blue Moons at the wedding, though? Probably.
They have them at the bar. I'm all about them.
Where is the wedding?
It's not at a ballpark, so
no. So
I knew that if it was at a ballpark, I'd have Blue Moons on deck. But it's in like the Sturbridge area.
Where the hell is that?
Sturbridge, Massachusetts. Never heard of Sturbridge Village?
I've heard of Sturbridge, but if you were like, hey, well, I guess I'm not like the perfect example for that, because if you ask me where like any town was geographically, I'm not going to be able to tell you like northwest, east, or south.
Yeah. I can tell you north or south because I know which highway I get on.
How far is it?
Probably like 45 to an hour.
Okay. Well, I hope they have Blue Moons there.
Same.
Because baseball and beer go hand in hand, and Blue Moon is the perfect playoffs companion with its bold. I'm programmed to say stadium companion, but it's the perfect playoffs companion with its bold flavor, bright explosion of color, iconic orange slice ritual, and authentic ballpark roots. In fact, Blue Moon was born in a ballpark at the Sandlot Brewery in Denver, Colorado. From a playoff berth to a world championship, a Blue Moon guarantee is a one-of-a-kind beer experience every single time. I actually had a few Blue Moons the other day, because Blue Moon is now the sponsor of Like a Pro, which is my show on NESN 360. And we had to shoot like a little Blue Moon commercial at my apartment. So we had to like pour them out. We're drinking them. This whole thing. And I was like, listen, I got a better idea. How about I just drink these Blue Moons and you can film me doing it if you want? I was like, there's no better way to showcase how much I love Blue Moon than just give me this 6-pack of Blue Moon. I'll drink them, and then you can kind of film what happens as we go. So that was my Tuesday. From its refreshing flavor with Valencia orange peel for a subtle sweetness and hints of coriander, Blue Moon Belgian White is a one-of-a-kind beer that's made brighter. It's carefully crafted and full-flavored with refreshing notes and a smooth, creamy finish. Why strike out with the same old beer when you can get something that's one of a kind? Best served with a signature orange garnish to showcase its beautiful hazy color. A beer this good only comes around once in a blue moon, but you can enjoy it all season long. Break out of your same old beer slump. Blue Moon Belgian White is one of a kind every time. Get Blue Moon Belgian White delivered by visiting get.bluemoonbeer.com/Jared to see your delivery options. That is get.bluemoonbeer.com/Jared. Blue Moon, made brighter. Celebrate responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Ale. Now seems like a good time to mention that Like a Pro drops on NESN 360 tomorrow or today if you're listening, September 22nd. It's on NESN 360, the app. If you already have NESN, then you have a subscription. So people were like, what? I got to subscribe to this and blah, 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 and I got to pay, blah, blah. If you already have NESN, then you already have access to the app. You can already watch the episodes. So episode 1 drops September 22nd, Thursday, and then new episodes come out every Thursday. So yeah, I'm excited. I actually went to the NESN studios today to do the pregame with Brock Holt.
I saw that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I saw Jim Rice was quite stunned that you could not dress yourself at the age of 34?
33, dude.
33?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of panicking about that because I knew that I had to do the NESN thing. And then I was like, fuck, what do I wear? Because I saw like Brock did his first hit last night and he's wearing a suit. And I was like, I don't even know if I have suits at my apartment. Like I used to do NBC, so I wore suits all the time when I did TV, but that was like 2017. I was like, I don't know if I have any suits here. And then I asked, I was like, hey, do I have to wear a suit? And they were like, no, but don't wear a t-shirt. Like you can wear, like look nice, but just don't wear a t-shirt. And that's why stupid ass Chris Cotillo was saying, oh yeah, nice to see you dressed up for it. Like I was wearing a nice button up. I wasn't wearing a suit because I didn't have to. I was the guest.
Yeah. No, I think that was fine.
Yeah, I think it was more than fine. So yeah, went in there, met Jim Rice for the first time. I think he would have preferred that I was wearing a suit.
Well, I mean, it's tough because Jim Rice is like the best dressed person on NESN, and clearly like invests a lot of time and energy into fashion. So on one hand, I think his standards might be a little bit too high, but I also would understand if you were kind of discouraged that Jim Rice didn't give you the fashion seal of approval.
Well, I also set the bar low because if I ever come back, then now I can be like, bam, check this out, Jim Rice. And then he'll be like, damn.
That's true. I think you got to work the opposite way though. I think you got to smoke it right off the top, and then you got to get casually less into it, because then one day you can just show up in like a hoodie and nobody will say anything.
I think if I showed up in like a really nice suit day one, it's like, why is this guy trying so hard?
Maybe, but then you go, but then you teach him a lesson, and then you get more casual.
Right. I'm gonna bring out the suits for Jim Rice next time. All right. Can you finally tell the strip club story? No. There's not enough time in the podcast today. There just isn't. Can you call Steve? Definitely not. Best memories at Winter Weekend.
Oh shit. Can I submit a question to Jake first?
Yeah, sure.
What the fuck is happening with Ime Udoka?
Who the hell is that?
Yeah, I mean we're gonna do a little Celtics talk.
Who is that?
It's the Celtics head coach.
Oh.
And now it's being reported that he's like facing a disciplinary action, like a significant suspension because of some shit that he did to break team guidelines.
Yeah, I mean, I was under the impression that he was one of the most buttoned up team guys of all time.
that was my impression of him. Clearly a good coach. All right. Just wanted to see if Jake had a take on that one.
Jake always has takes. Favorite winter weekend memory? Peter?
I would say I have so many, but the problem is I don't have too much of a recollection from most of the winter weekends.
Yeah.
Favorite winter weekend memory? I mean, the time that we had to like basically run out of the casino because Steve made a mess of himself and was like so ashamed of the night that he had. That was a good time. But
I was just telling that story the other night about Steve's night.
So I can't really talk about Steve's night because I didn't experience it. I was passed out from like 7 p.m. On, but like I know we woke up on the Sunday morning and Steve was like, we gotta go. We need to be out of here immediately. And I thought that was funny because I was just like, what the fuck happened to you guys last night?
Yeah. It wasn't me.
One of the ones that comes to mind is I think one of like the first or second one that we went to. One of our mutual friends that was there happened to as we were walking to Scorpion Bar, just took a empty Bud Light bottle and threw it as hard as he could right up against the wall.
Yeah,
shattered it, and then just didn't acknowledge it. Didn't acknowledge what just happened. Just didn't break stride. Kept walking. And then entered Scorpion Bar as if nothing had happened. And then I believe the next morning we found out that person had been arrested.
Yeah. So I was going to say, like, I thought you were about to land the plane. I was like, you're missing the most important part. He pulled the fire alarm.
Yes. Pulled the fire alarm at a different hotel. I thought.
I mean, it was in the casino because he got banned from the casino.
Oh, it was in the casino? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he pulled the fire alarm in the casino and then got banned.
Got banned from the casino. I also remember him saying. I also remember him saying that it was not the first time that he had pulled that move. It is something that like he kind of frequently does when he gets drunk.
Yeah, I mean, who? He just wanted to fire up the boys. He was like, "I'm going to smash this glass in the lobby, and I'm going to pull the fire alarm."
Yeah. Yeah, I remember him also saying that he, I believe he said that he had done that upon learning that a opposing sports team was staying in the hotel on the floor that he was staying in one time. So once he found that out, he pulled the fire alarm to give him a tough game the following day.
That's a 162 guy move if I've ever heard one. It's like, oh yeah, the Yankees are staying at this hotel. Here's a fire alarm. Yeah. I don't know. I have a bunch of like favorite, like winter weekend's the best. Like the fact that they like moved it to the other casino is terrible. Like that was, I just did not have a good time there. I was also sick, but like it's just so much smaller. Like Foxwoods is huge. There's so many people there. But winter weekend, I think the winter weekend after the Red Sox won the World Series in 2018 was awesome because we just showed up. Like I still had my fucking luggage. Like we walked in and I was trying to get to my room and then someone like stopped me to say hi and I said hi to them. And then another person ran up, they said hi. And then like I looked up and there was a circle wall that had formed around me. And it was probably like 5 people deep and just this donut crowd had just formed. I'm like holding my fucking suitcase. And I'm like, whoa, like what? And someone from the Red Sox security came up to me. They're like, hey, do you need help? And I was like, oh, I'm not one of the players. They're like, we know, but like, there's like 100 people here right now. I was like, damn. I mean, like that, like after 18, it was nuts. Like it was a completely different level for us going to winter weekend. Like the winter weekends before, I mean, it was still pretty cool. Like we definitely like mingled with a lot of fans in the years prior, but that year was just completely different. Like if you stopped to tie your shoe, you would look up and a line had formed and it's like 100 people long, like waiting to like say hi. So that was pretty fucking cool. I mean, obviously like going back to Steve, like coming back to, cause I mean, we were very poor in those early days. So going back to the room that I was sharing with Steve, where we shared a bed together, I opened the door at like 3:00 in the morning and here's Steve laying on the carpet with his pants to his ankles and a puke stain by his face on the rug. And I was like, hey, Steve, you good? And he was not like, he was just fucking out of it. So I like rolled him on his back. Or no, on his side. Obviously not his back. He would die.
Way to go, pal. What a friend.
I rolled him on his side and then just like had the whole bed to myself. I was very happy about that.
I'm glad that you mentioned the idea of us not having any money, because I do remember either the first or second one that we went to.
There was the first one where you had to sleep on the chair.
Yeah. So Steve was in charge of getting the hotels. And
it was like a mile away during a blizzard.
We stayed at the hotel at the casino the first night.
Mm-hmm.
We were in the casino, but then like the second night, either Steve booked it too late or it was too expensive and we didn't have enough money or something. But we got an off-site hotel that was like a mile down the road. As it turns out, not only was it a horrible snowstorm that year, and like we almost died in the shuttle back to the hotel that was a mile away, but Steve got a room that had one queen bed for 3 adult men, or 2.5 if you want to give me half credit for being an adult man. Mm-hmm. So that was quite exciting to find out. Not only was one of us going to have to share a bed, we were both going to have to share a bed, and the other person was odd man out. That happened to be me, because I could fall asleep anywhere, and I believe that I fell asleep sitting upwards in a chair next to the bed.
I might still have those videos somewhere of Pete just absolutely passed out snoring, and Steve just fired a magazine off of his face. Did not break stride in his snore.
I mean, if you don't have that video, somebody does. It's been tweeted 1,000 times.
I'm gonna see if I bet you I have it. I mean,
the one where you're sitting like sitting on the bed right next to me,
talking to
me, being like, "You're just being too loud.
You're making too much fucking noise. You're making too much
noise."
Me and Steve are trying to go to sleep, and you're not being reasonable. You're making too much fucking noise, my man. You need to.
It's so good. It's even funny in just audio form.
I mean, that was hard.
Dude,
like, that was a
magazine.
Like Pete is sleeping with his arm over his head like this, and there's a remote and a bottle of water. His face is just like very much exposed to the elements, and here comes a magazine.
And here comes a magazine. That thing had some weight to it too. I just used the thwap.
Do you always snore?
Oh no, only when I'm like really, really drunk. But like once that train starts going, it's not going to stop. Just not phased at all.
Oh. I have a lot of these old videos.
Hey, if you twist it to the right, you'll stay on pretty good. Yeah, definitely won't fall off now. Keep twisting it. What is wrong with you?
That's in your basement. Oh, what is this?
What is that?
You're just blasting DMX and you're just snoring through it.
Of course. Yeah, like I said, nothing can phase me. And then one year, me and Feidelberg shared a room because we were the two loudest snorers. And over the course of that weekend, I believe Feidelberg, I came back Friday night. Feidelberg was in his underwear, snoring like an absolute madman with a full burger on the bed next to him. And like I could not sleep. And then the next day, I was the one who was passed out like all day, snoring my ass off. And he came back and he was like, dude, you were so loud. So it worked out perfectly that neither one of you had to deal with us. but we didn't quite experience it at the same time, which was unfortunate.
Yeah. From Alex, how did you go about starting this career of yours? Like, what steps were taken first and what kind of risks were taken along the way? Interesting. Pete actually built my website in 2014. I'm not going to bore you with my whole fucking life story of how I started my career. But what risks were taken? I guess, I mean, like at the time, like going to Barstool back then was a risk because I wanted to be a writer. And I remember people being like, well, you know, if you go to Barstool, like people aren't going to take you seriously. And like, you're not going to be able to get a job at the Globe or the Herald if you go to Barstool first. And that ended up being a great decision, obviously. But at the time, that was a risk. I started off, I think I was getting paid like $500 a month to like blog. Like I was like being paid as a part-timer, but was doing full-time work more or less. But yeah, I'd say like that was, I don't even know if I can call that a risk. It was just kind of like taking a leap of faith, I guess, in a way. But yeah, Pete built my website in 2014. And then I kind of just went from there to Barstool. But yeah, there's obviously a lot of details in between. But
so all I'm hearing there is that I launched your career.
You launched my career.
None of this would have been possible without me.
Pete built my website, and then he was the one to be like, hey, let's fucking do a podcast together. And here we are.
So all the credit to me.
Thanks, Pete. Hashtag thank you, Pete. Pete invented me.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. How did you start your career, Pete?
A lot of the same ways you did. I just
the
like
nosebleeds?
Just started doing it myself. Didn't sign up for like whenever I give anybody advice, it's always like you got to just do it. You're probably going to suck for a little bit, but hands-on experience is the most valuable thing you can get. And the other one is that like, hey, don't do it if you're not like super passionate about it. And that's kind of like why I didn't do like the school newspaper route or whatever. I was like, I don't want to write about the fucking D3 college football team.
See, I did that too. I had to cover like Saugus High sports. It was like, but I didn't, it's such a weird, and I'm sure it's still how it's done, but it was essentially talking to the players, like what happened, and then talking to the coaches being like, who deserves some shine in the newspaper. Like I didn't go to any of the games.
Well, there you go. I didn't want to do that shit. So I was just like, okay, I'm going to start my own thing and I'm going to do it. And if it works out, great. If it doesn't, then at least I wasted my time doing something that I wanted to do. Yeah. And then I don't know. I haven't taken like many huge fucking risks. I guess like I probably had more job stability at CBS before I left for Bally, but I wasn't, again, it kind of goes back to like, I wasn't super passionate about the stuff that they were having me write about. And I was going to have a better opportunity to cover hockey with Bally. And so I took it and hopefully it works out. I don't know.
Favorite memory from the Alan Craig studio days?
Oh, man. That one I can say. There are like just fucking too many. One of the ones that I fucking loved though was, and this one won't be remembered by too many people, but like after the story came out that Terry Francona like woke up in like a haze at 4 a.m. with like 36 popsicle sticks next to his bed. We did a popsicle eating contest on the show with Michael Hurley. And for some reason, that just stuck out to me as one of the most ridiculous things that we ever did. We tried to record a podcast while eating like 36 popsicles. And like you got like 4 into them. Like, if that, you're like, I can't do it anymore. My brain hurts too much. And like, I thought that was just so fucking random and hilarious.
I very much forgot about that. I remember it now, but oh man. Probably, I guess this is an Alan Craig Studios one. In Alan Craig Studios, probably that first podcast after the Red Sox signed David Price, that felt like, hey, we're making some steam here. Like before it was, we're a bunch of friends talking about the Red Sox, but then once David Price gave the shout out in his press conference, and then we could piggyback that into like Dave was tweeting about it. Because before it was like, have fun with your little podcast that no one gives a fuck about. to like, oh wait, like, you know, these guys are kind of in the mix here, like beyond just in Pete's basement. So yeah, the podcast that we did after Price signed with the Red Sox, I remember going nuts. Like we had the microphones on these like mounts, but I just remember like taking it off the mount and just screaming, like holding it like it was a fucking doing like a rock concert. What else?
Two other ones just in terms of like guests that jump out of my mind. Number one, I think probably like hindsight being a little bit 2020, but Kirk Minahan actually driving to my house and coming into my basement to do a podcast is very funny in retrospect. And the other one was what's his name? The wrestler.
Thrill Ride. That was
Thrill Ride.
So Thrill Ride was the first like in-person guest that we ever did. I believe it was Steve's first day. So it was the first guest that we ever had in the studio, and Thrill Ride shows up and Steve gets out of his car and he's like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like, why we're interviewing wrestlers and it's a Red Sox podcast? Like, I don't get it. And that was, I mean, Steve, huge wrestling fan. So like, obviously he was excited, but he just obviously didn't get what was happening there, which, I mean, I get it. I get it. It at the time, maybe it was a risky crossover to do, but that was guest number one.
I remember being nervous that I was going to have to introduce Thrill Ride, never having met him in person or like knowing him beyond his internet personality. I was nervous that I had to introduce him to my mom as the first guest visiting my house and being like, who the fuck is this guy going to be when I have to introduce him to my mother? Who was nice enough to be like, yes, you can have my basement to do your silly little podcast. And now you're bringing strange grown men into my house. Who, like, and that being the first of the group was very, very nerve wracking for me.
Yeah. Who else was down there? Like Hurley Feidelberg came down there. I remember that.
Yeah.
Feidelberg came down there.
Gary
Streisky was down there. Tim Britton was down there.
Yeah.
Mutt was down there.
That's right.
I feel like there were like a lot of radio guys.
Yeah,
Episode
there were a lot
100
of
was
media
Felger,
people.
but it was not. He didn't come down there.
Yeah, there were a lot of media people.
A lot like that. That's what was crazy is how many people said yes to going down there. Because I think the first one to say no was Dave.
Yeah.
So like we just had it in our minds that all we have to do is ask and people say yes. And if they say yes, then they have to come there.
Which number one, not surprising that Dave was like, no, fuck no, you come to me. But number two, it's funny that he was the first one to say no because like he's the only one that had skin in the game.
Yeah. He didn't have to. Yeah, no. The fact that I was more surprised that he said yes at all because, I mean, he could have just been like, no, I'm good. But he allowed us to come to his home, and then we did that. So that was 2015. That was the first year of the podcast, and we were still figuring out how to podcast. So, like, I didn't realize that we could just do the interview with Dave and then cut that and then do like the front and end parts of the podcast, not with Dave. So we get to Dave's house and I'm just like, what's up and welcome back to the Section 10. He's just like looking at me like, the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
The fuck are you doing? And like, it was an interview, but we also were like just doing the podcast while Dave was there. I was like, yeah, so like fucking, you know, the Royals and the Red Sox are in Kansas City, huh? You didn't see any of that game? And I mean, to his credit, he went along with it. The only thing I remember him saying in that interview or that whole episode was, well, I mean, yeah, like you guys do this for like hours, right? Like your episodes are like hours long. Like, yeah, we don't have to do it for hours with you. If you want to kick us out of your house, you're more than welcome to do that. But I think he gave us like over an hour, which he would never do now.
He did give us a lot of time. And the only thing that I really remember from that is number one, he started off like his interactions with me by being like, "You don't really like us, do you?" And I was like, "What? What do you mean?" And he was like, I know who you are, and we've gone like back and forth on Twitter and stuff in the past. So we had that conversation. And then number two, I remember having the conversation after we were done on the podcast because you weren't full time at that time.
No.
But he was like, "Well, we can work something out."
Yeah.
So like I actually remember like the birth of your like Barstool full-time contract.
Yeah. He tells a very different story of how that happened, because I remember. So if like old school Barstool fans remember, there was a day back in the Milton days when Dave had one of those airbrush tattoo artists come to the office, and he got Justin Bieber's tattoos airbrushed on him. That was the day that I like interviewed for my job. So I came in and I was in his office in the Milton office, and we were just kind of going over like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, like I can blog the Red Sox. He's like, but you don't want to be full time? And I was like, I don't think that anyone cares what I have to say about like Justin Bieber and like all that shit. I was like, I only talk about like the Red Sox and baseball. And we kind of like left it at that. I started part-time doing Red Sox. And then in 2016, before the Chernin acquisition, that's when we kind of like linked up again. And he was like, so like, do you want to be full-time or not? And I was like, yeah, but like, what do you want me to do? He's like, you just do baseball. And I was like, was that an option all along? And he was like, yeah. Like he's like, I told you that 2 years ago. Like I wanted you to come on full-time and just do baseball. I was like, you never said that. Like you just like a full-time Barstool blogger back then blogged about everything. Like if something wacky happened, that's what you would write about. So I thought like, all right, I'll just do some Red Sox stuff. And then he wants me to do like fucking Taylor Swift blogs. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know anything else. So he claims that he asked me to do that several years prior, but it just didn't happen that way. So yeah, my quote unquote interview in 2014 was when he was in Justin Bieber body paint, essentially. This is an old school question from Will. You get stuck on a deserted island with two members of this current Red Sox team. Who are you choosing and why? Pete, Wade Miley is not an acceptable answer.
Ah, shit. Damn it. So it just says members of the team, doesn't specify players.
It says members of this current Red Sox team.
I'm gonna pick Alex Cora as one.
Okay.
Secondly, shit. I'm gonna say Xander Bogaerts.
Oh,
He's an island guy.
yeah. Okay.
I trust the leader of this team, and I want the island guy.
It's fair. It's a good pick. What two guys would I want to be on a deserted island with? I'm trying to think of like who could I talk to the most without getting bored or like have to like search for conversation topics. I feel like Cora. So if I can't pick the people that you pick, let's just say that so it's not boring. I would pick Cora, but you pick Cora. Matt Barnes and because like now like are we picking people that we think could like help us get out of this situation, or like are we assuming that people are coming to save us but we just don't know when?
Or you could pick the guy that you think would be the best to eat in case things go wrong.
That's why like Pablo is always the default answer for all these, because we're like, yeah, we'll just eat
just
Pablo.
in case. Yeah.
Like
nobody likes him, and there's more to eat.
Yeah, like if we have to run away from the locals, Pablo is definitely going to be the slowest. I would pick Matt Barnes, and I would have picked Poecki, but fuck. Christian Arroyo.
All right.
Yeah. I think he'd be good company. If you could be in the Red Sox booth for one game, who would you want to be in there with you? You can go back in time, of course, so you can say Remy.
Are you waiting for me?
Yeah.
All right. That's an easy answer for me. I'm going to go 3-man booth, Orsillo, me, and Eck. Because that'll be the closest to a podcast that I could possibly get.
Mm-hmm.
And like Orsillo's such a pro's pro that like I'm not going to need to carry any weight, and me and Eck can just banter. Like it's just going to be 3 dudes having fun.
Mm.
That's what I want.
You can be in the booth one game. Man. I mean, I don't know how you don't say like Remy and Orsillo. Like, I don't know how you don't default to that. So let's just say we don't go with the obvious. Can't go Don and Jerry. I'm going to have Gary Streisky as my sideline guy.
Hell yeah.
Gary's my sideline guy. Man. I want Eck in there, and I want Don and Jerry in there. Fuck. One game. Eck. I'm gonna pick Eck in Monaco, only under the pretense that Don and Jerry are off limits because it's too obvious.
Great pick there. Would have just said just us, just all the boys in the booth.
Yeah,
we get to take over the booth for one game. What a time that would be.
Would you let Steve in there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Steve's earned it.
Has he?
Yeah, he has.
Yeah.
He carried so much weight in the original Section 10.
I mean, we probably would have stopped after the 2015 season if it wasn't for Steve.
For real, yeah.
Steve is like, you guys, I mean, it's been 2 months. Do you guys want to do a episode?
You would have strangled me for like not watching Red Sox games.
Yeah. Nobody
would have organized it as well as Steve had. He pushed it on social like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Steve did a lot.
We weren't going to make the videos.
No, definitely not. No music, no videos, no fans.
Yeah. A lot of Drake.
Yeah.
What are the favorite memories from this season? Terrible, awful, bad season from you, Pete, and Jake. What favorite memories do you have from this season?
I'll let Jake go first.
Jake?
I mean, the flight to Chicago was fun when I thought we were going to have a cool series. Yeah, that trip was sort of a letdown, but
Jaron Duran leadoff homer. It was all downhill from there.
Yeah, that was sick. That was my birthday.
Hmm.
June 28th, leading up to that was also a good time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say just getting back in the Red Sox podcast game. It was a good, not a good year for me to get back into it, but
2015 was the last place season. People forget that.
That's
People
what
kept
I'm saying.
that
That's
it
what
was
I'm
a curse.
saying.
Like no.
And I do feel like it's a little bit important for me to kind of like earn my stripes a little bit after a few years away.
Yeah.
And this feels like a good way to get in on the ground floor, pay my dues a little bit. And then once this show like picks up steam and once the Red Sox are great again, like I'm going to feel like I'm worthy of being able to like enjoy that and not just come back into the fold.
Yeah. Like if the Red Sox were in last place for like 2 years and then you just came back in 2018, that'd be kind of fucked up.
Yeah, right. Yeah, totally.
Jared, did you ever check out the Voyeurs to see Sydney Sweeney's honks like Pete told you about?
That was reversed. That was reversed.
I told you about it?
You told me about it.
Oh, did you see it?
I did see it. I did end up watching it.
What do you
not that good of a movie, and I was disappointed. I mean, it was enjoyable.
That was a good movie.
It was enjoyable, but it wasn't like any great movie. And like you hyped it up, being like she's naked the whole time.
No, I didn't.
She's not.
I didn't say that.
You said you were like, if you want to see her boobs, watch this movie.
Yeah, there's a whole scene.
You were like you said like she's naked like half the time.
I didn't say.
There's a whole scene, yeah, but like I watched Euphoria. She's naked like every 3 scenes.
I haven't seen that yet.
She's naked all the time in Euphoria, and like so much so, like in the second season, I was like, okay, enough, not enough, not take it away, but like, all right, it's getting a little bit shameless how often you're writing her naked into the script.
Right. How many seasons are there of this show?
2.
I'll check it out.
It's all he needs to know.
Yeah. Love boobs. Which current player would you go on a double date with?
I'm gonna say Kike Hernandez.
No.
Because Kike seems like a very funny dude, great company, and he's also a short king. So, like, going on a double date, keep that gap minimal. Seems like a wise decision on my part.
Yeah. I have gone on a double date with a player on the team.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to pick them.
Ooh, that's tough. That just says didn't go well.
No, the date was fine. Yeah.
Doesn't sound like it.
Things have changed.
If anybody asks you the question, would you do it again? The answer is clearly no.
No, I would not.
Ooh, okay.
No, I would not. It's not that I wouldn't. It's not. This is just not going to happen.
Double dates are weird because unless like if you're explicitly addressing it as a double date, you're not like good enough friends to go on a date night together. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like,
I mean, like it was more like the girls were friends and then we were friends. So everyone was like, all right, let's all go out together.
So was it like a first date for both couples?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, probably the Hawks after how I described them in the last podcast, but you weren't here for that, were you, Pete?
I was not.
So I met Tanner Houck and his wife. I believe her name is Abigail. Could be wrong. I think that's her name. I went on like a 20-minute rant about how like they have exactly what I'm looking for. They're hermits. They just like to do stuff that like they like to cook together. They like to watch the same shows. They don't like to go out in the world and socialize. It was like, oh, perfect. It's like,
so they're just like apartment friends.
Yeah.
They're house friends. They're house friends who have sex. Cool. That sounds awesome.
I mean, like they're the exact dynamic that I'm looking for. And they live right near me. So I think I would pick them, but like, how do you go on a double date with like two couples that don't want to go out? Like, do you just like all hang in and like watch a movie together?
It really it doesn't sound like you want to go on a double date with them. It sounds like you want to be a throuple with the Hawks.
I think you could do a double date dynamic where everyone just like hangs out. Like that's like high school in a nutshell. It's like you're not old enough to drink. You can't afford to go to the 99. So you just like all hang out at one person's house and watch a movie downstairs.
Yeah. And then like fondle each other under blankets.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Been there, brother.
Been there, brother.
Fondled under a blanket or two in my day.
That was high school. Give us a quick tattoo tour. I don't know if I could do that. I just have too many. And like, I'm not going to take my shirt off.
You'd like to, though. I'm glad that you're not gonna.
I wouldn't say no.
Our mutual friend Molly asked who would win in a arm wrestling contest.
Probably you. I have really my wrists are not. I've torn the left one twice and the right one once. So I think I would honestly, if you said let's arm wrestle, I wouldn't even accept. Because I would be like, you're just going to pop my wrist and I'm not going to be able to work out for 8 months. Probably longer now because I'm older.
Well, being a coward doesn't make me any less of a winner. So thank you.
You would win. Pete would win. Adam asks, would you rather fight one Jared-sized Pete or 10 Pete-sized Jareds?
Listen. You're like 2 inches taller than me.
That is what? That is not true, Peter.
How tall are you?
6'3"?
You're like 2 inches taller than me.
Jake, how tall am I?
Yeah, I'd say like 6'3".
Yeah.
That's a company man right there.
Yeah. How tall are you, Pete?
So you're 6'3", I'm a 6'1".
You're not 6'1".
You're not 6'3".
All right, how tall are you?
How tall are you? It depends on how tall you are.
I asked you first.
Yeah, but my answer is how tall I am depends on how tall you are.
My license says 5'10".
That's not true. Show me your license.
Yes, it does.
Well, anybody can lie on their license.
I mean, I'm 5'10". I'll actually like. So
You are
this is.
not
I don't know
5'10".
why. Because I cover baseball players that are like 6'6". All the pictures that I have next to dude, like Pat Light's 6'6", fucking Coley is 7 feet tall. I looked short in comparison to the company that I keep, but everyone didn't believe how tall I was. So at the office, I let Pat measure me, and I'm 5'10". Like I'm 5'10" on the dot.
All right, I'm 5'8".
You're not. You're like 5'5".
Not 5'5", but
Would you rather fight one Jared-sized Pete or 10 Pete-sized Jareds? Like you'd rather fight one Jared-sized Pete?
yeah.
Yeah.
No matter what, you always fight the less amount of
Right.
opponents.
Right.
It's
What
not
would
the
you be
size
doing if you
to
didn't
fight
do
the
what you
dog.
do now, job-wise?
What'd you say?
What would you be doing if you didn't do what you do now, job-wise?
I'd probably work at I'd be like a bartender or work at a brewery or something. Probably. Maybe I'd be a firefighter, but maybe not. I'm a bit of a pussy.
I don't think you can smoke cigs if you're a firefighter, so I'm out.
That's stupid because it's just training your body for smoke.
Right. I think there's like some weird rule where you can get grandfathered in. Like if you smoked cigarettes before they made this rule in like
Really?
2005, then you're allowed to continue to smoke cigs. But if you get
They should
caught,
treat that. Society should treat it like that for everything. Imagine if there was just like one 70-year-old dude on your plane just ripping heaters and him just showing his like American Airlines smoker's card, and they're like, nothing we can do.
yeah, this guy's been smoking since
Just
fucking
blowing
45.
smoke in a baby's face right next to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
That should have grandfathering rules should apply to almost all aspects of society.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know if that's like a Saugus Fire Department rule or if that's like a universal thing, but I know that is a thing in Saugus. Like if you smoked cigarettes before they banned firefighters from smoking cigarettes, then you can still smoke them. But if you get caught smoking a cigarette and you're not okayed to smoke them, then it's a big trouble. I think you can get fired for it.
That's wild.
Yeah. Oh, that Molly. FSU Molly.
Yeah.
I thought it was a different Molly.
What would you do if you weren't doing your job?
Oh, I'd be dead. I'd be
Respect
dead.
that.
Yeah, I was doing a desk job at a marketing firm for 10 months. I didn't even make it a full year before I went full time at Barstool, and I was miserable. I mean, nice guy. Owner's a nice guy. I've actually seen him. I saw him. I've seen him twice since I quit. I saw him he came to one of the live shows that we did in 2018. And then I saw him after one of the ALCS games against Houston this past October. Nice guy, Red Sox season ticket holder. Like when I think opening day in 15 was against the Phillies and it was a day game. So he was like, yeah, like pull a chair into my office, and he had like a TV in there and he like let me watch the Red Sox. I think David Price signed with the Red Sox while like during work hours, and he was like, yeah, blog it. He was like, as long as you like, if it takes an hour to blog it, then just like stay an hour later and it's fine, whatever. So he was cool. I just like the work wasn't for me. In honor of the cart being dead, which by the way, there wasn't enough talk about that. Like Ref Snyder hit a homer. Who else hit a homer last night? I don't know. The Red Sox hit 3 of them. Did Raffy hit one? Yeah, Raffy hit one in the 9th, I think. It doesn't matter. Anyways, the Red Sox had 3 homers and the home run cart didn't come out. So with Plawecki, I mean, this team sucks at hitting home runs. The Red Sox suck at hitting home runs this year. So, I mean, Plawecki got released on Friday night and we didn't hit a home run until Wednesday. That's bad. So we didn't really get to see, hey, if Plawecki's gone, do we do the home run cart? The answer is no. In honor of the cart being dead, who has the worst home run celebration, and why is it the Blue Jays jacket? I like the jacket.
Nah, that was going to be my pick. I obviously don't watch like a ton of Blue Jays games or whatever, but like the few times that I have seen it come out, it's just like a little awkward. Like if you don't get your hands in the jacket cleanly, it has a lot of potential to be kind of awkward and cringy. So that's always kind of the concern when it comes to like a celebration thing. You need something that you can do consistently every single time and not really have an opportunity to fuck it up.
This isn't this isn't a team celebration. It was more of a player celebration that I didn't love. But I love the guy, so that's why I don't know if I want to say it.
Say it.
I don't know that he even still does it because he's on his second team since leaving the team that I noticed him doing it. When Luke Voit used to hit home runs, he would take the 2 water bottles and like smash them together and like chug them like Stone Cold Steve Austin, but he didn't do it right. Like Austin would take the 2 beers, smash them once and then pour it. And Luke Voit would take the 2 bottles and smash them together like 5 times so that there was like 2 drops of water in the bottle by the time he like poured it. But which I guess is what you don't want to like you don't want to run out to first base drenched. But yeah, he didn't do it right. That's the only reason why. But like team wise, I don't know. I guess like the Angels cowboy hat, like that can be a little cringy when you're the Angels and like you suck. But I mean, then again, the Red Sox were in last place 2 out of the 3 years that they had the home run cart. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was the right time to retire the home run cart, though. Like a good natural stopping point. As unfortunate as it is on several accounts, like the team stinks and Plawecki's gone. Like I think it's the right time to call it.
What are your most unpopular opinions? Jake?
I think sitting in unreal seats at Fenway has made me like numb to sitting in the bleachers because I'm like, anytime I don't have the best seat in the house, I'm like, what the hell is going on?
It's true. That's a good take. It's a good take. Like I can agree with that. Like I'll still sit in section 10. I still have my seats in section 10. But if like someone was like, hey man, I got tickets to the game, like where are they? Oh, fucking grandstand 32. Like, no, I'm good. Or I would be
that's
like,
the thing
all
about
right.
baseball is like the more expensive seats and like the closer you are, they're just better. Like those seats are better. It's a better experience to sit there. When I go to hockey, like my case is always like sitting down low gives you a better feel for the speed of the game, and I think that's a cool experience. But sitting up high helps you see the ice better, and I think it's like a better watching experience in terms of taking it all in. So like both things have their advantage. I prefer to sit further away, but like that does not apply when it comes to baseball. The closer you are, it's the better seat.
Yeah. Like I've gotten to sit directly behind home plate, front row, 2 or 3 times, maybe a handful of times, and it's fucking unbelievable. Yeah, I usually sit up in State Street Pavilion for the games. It's perfect. Like you're behind home plate, but you're above, so you can see everything. There's space. Like the bathroom, like you have your own like little bathroom there. Like if you pay more at a baseball game, like you're getting what you pay for. Most underrated Red Sox player of all time. Peter?
Most underrated.
There's really a correct answer to this.
I mean, I would say if we're talking like technically and literally, I would say JD Drew, because like everybody thought that JD Drew fucking sucked when he was here and they gave him so much shit, and like probably had a lot to do with the contract, but like JD Drew was really good when he played here.
I've said it a bunch of times. I use this comparison. Everyone loved Cody Ross in the 1 year that he was here. I love Cody Ross. But if you look at Cody Ross's 1 season with the Red Sox, compare it to JD Drew's first 3 seasons with the Red Sox, and they're almost identical numbers. And Cody Ross was here in a last place season. JD Drew hit a fucking grand slam that helps you win a championship. But the answer to this question, most underrated Red Sox player, it's Mark Bellhorn. Everyone hated Mark Bellhorn because he made 1,000 errors at second base. He sucked defensively. And in 2004, he set the Red Sox single season record for most strikeouts in a season. But then he hit the 3 most important home runs in that playoff run. How many times have you seen Mark Bellhorn welcomed back at Fenway Park since he left? 0 times. No one has seen him since. No one has seen him since. He, in game 6, that home run in the A-Rod slap game, that won you the game. Game 7, the home run off the foul pole. And then in game 1 of the World Series, he hit a home run off the foul pole again. And that was the game winner. Like, Mark Bellhorn had 3 of the biggest home runs in Red Sox franchise history in 3 of the biggest games that this franchise has ever played in the postseason. And has he been welcomed back once? No. I mean, maybe they asked and he was just like, nah,
yeah, maybe it's just a him thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he was a vibrant personality when he was here. Kevin Millar said his nickname on the team was Mute.
Really?
Because I asked, Jesus. Like when I did that quarantine rock, paper, scissors thing, the cool thing about that, and I've told this story, is that like I would ask people to do it. They would say yes. And then I would FaceTime them on my laptop, mount my phone behind me to film the whole thing. And then we would do the rock, paper, scissors thing for 10 minutes. I would shut off the camera. And then most of the people, we would just end up talking on FaceTime for like another hour. Like it was quarantine. Everyone was so bored. They were only talking to the people that they lived with. So in the conversation with Millar, after we were done recording that, we just got on the topic of Mark Bellhorn. And he was like, yeah, he lives out here in Arizona. Just golfs, does whatever. And he's like, yeah, like he never said anything when he was a player either. Like we used to call him Mute. I was like, oh, okay.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Why doesn't Pete love us? Is a question.
I do. I don't know who said that, but I do.
If you could have any superpower, which would you choose and why?
Teleportation, just because it would be awesome to not have to deal with travel ever.
That's a good one. Jake, what would you pick?
I would pick flying because then you could just rob every single home run.
Jack Campbell absolutely in shambles right now.
Couldn't you technically do that with teleportation?
That's a
if
good
you
point.
could teleport, you could go to any game.
Yeah, basically Jake's like anything that Jake could make a case for when it comes to flying could just be done with teleportation with less effort. Unless you actually enjoy the act of flying.
I feel like you're basically choosing fame or no fame. If you can teleport, you can do that very discreetly and use that superpower for your benefit and keep it on the low. But if you fly, everyone's going to be like, what the fuck? I mean, technically, you can just teleport into a bathroom stall at Fenway and then come out and be like, all right, I'm inside.
Jake's just a showboat out here.
I mean, imagine the content opportunities where you're like, all right, I'm going to teleport to Yankee Stadium in the bleachers. And then, you know what I would do? I would teleport to the bleachers of Yankee Stadium and I would just like start a fight with like 20 people and then just teleport home.
And blog about it.
Yeah. Dude, look at these idiots. They don't even know where I am. I'm home. I'm in Boston.
You could get away with it, not to like turn into like a dark power, but you could also just get away with every crime.
Yeah. You could
Like,
you
I
could
have an
teleport.
alibi. I was so far away.
Yeah. You could teleport into a bank vault and just steal a bunch of money and then teleport out of there. Like, I don't know.
Limitless opportunities. How are you going to fly into a bank vault, Jake?
That's true, Jake.
It's just more showy.
Yeah. Yeah, Jake wants the clout. Jake wants to be the guy that flies. Like we're trying to do things on the low where it's like, all right, yeah, think about that. It's like you're on TikTok, then you like see some girl in California, and you're like, oh man, like I'd really love to meet her, and then you're like, zoop, hey, you want to get a drink tonight? She's like, what the fuck? I thought you lived in Boston. Like, well, I took my private jet here. Yeah, teleporting would be fucking awesome. That'd be so convenient. I hate the traffic going to Waltham for the sports hub. It is terrible.
You don't have to deal with traffic. You don't have to deal with drunk driving. You don't have
Yeah.
to deal with like travel for
Yeah,
work.
you could just get
like,
shit faced
Yeah.
and then teleport to your bed.
yeah.
That'd be
Dude,
awesome.
this is the best answer.
You could teleport. Like it's like, oh, that's a super long line. Oh, I just teleported to the fucking middle of the bar.
Dude, you wouldn't have to pay for anything. You could just pick up something and then teleport home. Like, I mean,
if you teleported to a bar, you'd have to pay for drinks, unless they were like, "Oh man, I'll buy you a shot if
Well,
you do
yeah.
that teleport trick."
I'm just saying shoplifting would be very easy.
Unless you get caught on camera, or like they like eventually, like all the cameras would pick up the teleport guy, and
Fair.
then they would start testing for like hair follicles that got left behind, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, like over the last 10 years." You've stolen $800,000 worth of shit. So you're under arrest.
Fair
But
point.
then you can just teleport out of jail.
That's true. you're untouchable.
Yeah. As long as you didn't commit a crime that they could like put you to death for.
But you could just teleport out of there too. Like the only thing is like like you could just teleport out of death row. You could teleport out of the teleportation or the electric chair.
Yeah, you could. Where the hell did Pete go? He left.
You just teleported out of here.
You just teleported out. All right. Well, we're working on getting Pete back. I got to talk to you about Trade Coffee. Actually, I just got it in the mail, and I'm sure that there's a part of this read that'll instruct me to talk about it, so I won't get too far into it. The whole thing about Trade Coffee. It's coffee. It's a coffee subscription service unlike anything that you've tried before because they partner with top independent roasters to freshly roast and send the best coffees in the country directly to your home on your preferred schedule. There's no gimmicks. Their team of experts do all the work, taste testing hundreds of coffees from across the US every month to curate over 450 exceptional coffees that make the cut. The coffee that I got from Trade is so good. I can't believe how much I like it. Here's the deal. You got to fill out this little questionnaire and they tell you what you like, basically. Because if you're not an expert, like I'm not an expert, you're going to have to fill out this questionnaire, answer the questions that they got for you. And then they're like, boom, here's the coffee for you. I filled out the questionnaire last week, got the coffee within like a few days. They were like, this is the coffee for you. We're going to send it to you. Boom, done. Tried it out. And I was like, oh, Trade Coffee. You know exactly what you're talking about. Based on my questions that I've answered. And if what you get isn't up your alley, but for me it was, but if you're one of these people that are like, oh, they sent me a coffee and I wasn't totally into it, guess what? Trade will have whatever it is that you want. They will actually replace it for free and match you up with an expert. They'll be like, hey, you know what? The questionnaire didn't work. We're actually going to put a live human being with you and be like, all right, boom, done. Got your coffee for you. Trade will have whatever it is that you want. You can shop their most popular coffees by roast or flavor profile, and you can take their coffee quiz, as I mentioned, and get expertly matched with coffees that you'll love. Trade is the easiest way to get your very best tasting coffee delivered fresh when you need it. You've got nothing to lose because Trade guarantees, like I said, that you will love your first bag. And if you don't, they will work with you to replace it for free. So if you want to support small businesses and brew the best cup of coffee that you've ever made at home, it's time to try Trade Coffee. Right now, Trade is offering our listeners a total of $30 off your first order plus free shipping at drinktrade.com/Jared. Jared. That is drinktrade.com/Jared for $30 off your subscription to the best coffees in the country. And we're now rejoined by Pete Blackburn. Hey, Pete.
Howdy, pal.
How are you?
I'm good.
When is Pete getting paintballed? When are we doing this? Because if you think about it, right? After the season's over, it's going to start to get really cold. And if we shoot you with a paintball gun while it's cold out, that's going to hurt way more. I mean, it hurts as it is, but like, is there like an indoor paintball place around here that we can go to? But I don't think that they'll, maybe they would have to be in on it. Like we'd have to go to the front desk and be like, hey, listen, like we have to shoot Pete. And we prefer to do it inside because it's really cold out. Like we'll still pay and like we'll play around or whatever. Like we'll do an hour, but first we have to shoot Pete.
The only thing that I would be worried about is the liability factor. I bet a lot of places wouldn't want to like sign up for that liability wise.
So then we'll shoot them.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. What liability? Like you would sign a waiver. Doesn't everyone have to sign a waiver when they play?
Yeah, I mean, if there's like a waiver involved, then maybe.
Yeah. All right, we'll get you to sign a waiver and we'll
They
light
might
you the
not
fuck
be
up.
too keen on the idea of like me lining up in front of a fucking firing squad though. Not sure the waiver qualifies that.
All I know, Pete, is when I line up to shoot you with a paintball gun, you can bet your ass I'll have a burning cigarette in my mouth.
Hell yes. As will I, as I take the fucking paintballs.
You're like, oh.
Is that all you bitches got?
Oh, man. One good takeaway from this season from Jacob Beck. Jake, I feel like you have a probably good takeaway from the season. What is it?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this one's pretty obvious, but Brian Bale, sort of getting to see him and having him become sort of a guy that you might think will be a rotation guy next year.
Yeah. Okay. Peter?
I mean, obviously, big takeaway is like, hey, bullpens are cool and you kind of need them. But more importantly for me, need more home runs. Need a big home run guy.
Mm-hmm.
Need some dongs in the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not been a lot of fun. It's one thing if you get to if you watch a team lose a bunch, but they're hitting home runs and it creates for a nice little party every once in a while. This team just has very little excitement. Not a lot of juice in the bats. Don't love that. Especially having to watch Aaron Judge hit 60 for the Yankees. Like, I just look at that and I'm like, damn, that seems like fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Biggest takeaway. A positive takeaway from the season. There weren't many. I guess it would be seeing Xander finish strong. You know, like when people were wondering, like, will the contract stuff affect his play on the field? It hasn't. Like his defense has been better than ever, and he's in the hunt for a batting title. So I guess Xander finishing strong is up there. There just haven't been a lot of like, wow, this was good. I don't know. Can we get a Sox Signatures ad read, please? Yes. The Section 10 podcast is brought to you by Sox Signatures. Sox Signatures is the leader in autographs and game-used memorabilia of tomorrow's Boston baseball stars. Visit SoxSignatures.com today for unique items and the best prices on Sox prospects from Lowell to Boston. Use promo code Section 10 to get 10% off your first order at Sox Signatures. Jake?
Yeah, I'm out on this one.
You just follow my lead, Jake.
Just say .com.
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 Hell yeah, brother. Man, what an iconic ad read. As soon as you started, I knew every fucking word. It's incredible.
Yeah, that's one that's just burned into my brain.
That
was one of the coolest.
Very impressive that you can do that from memory.
Yeah, that's
It's like the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah, I mean when we did the live shows in 2018, I would do the Sox Sigs ad read, and the crowd did it like it was a fucking song.
It's amazing. What a piece of advertising.
What has been the most memorable interview that you've ever done? Also, is Yelich as charming as he seems? Asking for a friend. Yes. He's a very nice. He's not one of like. There's definitely dudes that like are like very nice and charming for the cameras, and then behind closed doors they're like raunchy. Yelich is just like he's cool as fuck all the time. Polite, charming, nice young boy. Most memorable interview. probably the David Ortiz interview for like episode 1 of Call 'em Poppy. Like growing up a diehard Red Sox fan, seeing 2004 as a sophomore in high school, and then seeing David Ortiz's entire career as a young adult, and then getting told like you can interview him about his literal entire career as much time as you need. It was like almost 2 hours. And to do that in person while sitting in his like living room, that was something. I don't know how, like on a personal level, I don't know how I topped that one. But yeah, I'd pick that one last year. Peter?
In the context of like this show, it's obviously the Pedro Martinez one. The
one
question.
God, I fucking forgot about that.
The one question, like that's the one question that I'll remember in Section 10 lore.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an easy pick for me in the context of this show.
Would you fuck Sandra Bullock while he's sitting next to his wife? You asked him that.
I didn't know that. It was a phone interview.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like that clip gets exponential play if it happens today, but it was 2015 in the Wild West of the internet and podcasting. How should we, this is from Sammy, how should we as Sox fans handle our emotions towards Judge's season? Obviously, we want the Yankees to fail miserably like they usually do, but this is odd. The better he plays, the higher his price and the lower the chances of him returning to New York. But he's still a Yankee. I think we kind of like touched on this in the beginning, like when we opened up with some Judge talk. I am enjoying the home run chase as a Red Sox fan. Like I don't think that. I think not luckily, it's kind of bittersweet, honestly, because I do miss the days when it was fuck the Yankees no matter what. Like 2003, if this were 2003 and Aaron Judge was on 60 homers about to play the Red Sox. I mean, of course, I would prefer that 61 doesn't happen against the Red Sox. Like it would be very funny if like Yankee fans had to wait because of 4 homerless games against the Red Sox. But let's face it, he's probably going to do it against the Red Sox. But yeah, if you're a Red Sox fan, they're in last place. Judge is not an asshole. Like he seems like a pretty good dude. So he's like one of those guys where it's like, yeah, it's easy to root for Judge. It's a fun season. Everyone loves homers. That's like the true testament of American society. Like we love homers so much that we'll get excited even if you're a Red Sox fan and it's a Yankee that's doing it. Like that's the true test. I know that all Red Sox fans don't feel that way, but I feel like a lot of Red Sox fans do. Like I feel like a lot of Red Sox fans like, yeah, I mean, whatever. Like I want to see it. People want to see history. And it just helps that there's no cloud of suspicion around him, and he's just not an asshole. So it helps.
Yeah, I mean, you touch on like a lot of the points that I kind of embrace. It's like, he doesn't seem like a bad dude. Like if this was like A-Rod on the Yankees, I would not be cheering for it. It doesn't hurt that he's not an asshole. Is driving up his price. The Red Sox are out, so it's not like he's directly hurting the Red Sox. There's just not a lot of reason not to root for it. I like the idea of getting to witness history as a sports fan, no matter when it happens. Ideally, you'd like to see it not involve it benefiting your most hated team, but sometimes that's the pill you got to swallow, and you kind of have to try to enjoy it no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah. Lizzie said, not a question, but can I get a birthday shout out? Happy birthday, Lizzie.
Happy birthday, Lizzie.
Would you rather bat against Tim Wakefield's knuckle or pitch against Ortiz?
I would rather bat against Wakefield because like at least you've got like somewhat of a fighting chance, and it'd be very fucking cool to see a knuckleball from like a world-class knuckleballer and see how that thing fucking dances. I already know exactly what I'm getting if I'm pitching to Ortiz. It's like he's taking me a billion feet to the fucking moon, and I feel like a tiny little human who doesn't deserve to be on the same playing surface as him. At least with Wakefield, you could give yourself a shot.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like you could luck into one there. Jared, on a scale from 1 to 10, how cool is TC off air? He seems like the kind of guy you meet at a buddy's barbecue, drink a bunch of beers with, and then hug way too many times before the night's over. TC is awesome. TC is, he's kind of like the same off air as he is on air. I feel like on air, he seems like that guy. Like, he's just like, yeah, he's fucking, if you saw him at a barbecue, you'd give him a bunch of hugs.
I would say he's probably more personable like than you'd expect.
Yeah, for sure. Like, there's definitely some broadcasters that are absolute robots. Like, TC is a normal dude. Like, when you talk to him off the air, like he'll talk to you just like how anyone else talks to you. He's a normal dude.
Yeah. Good sense of humor. Not super like buttoned up. Like, he is buttoned up, but he's not. Like, he is.
He's not. Yeah.
He's not.
Yeah.
He drafted me in the media hockey game at Fenway like 3 years ago. So always will hold a soft spot in my heart for TC.
Yeah. I mean, I obviously have a tremendous amount of respect for his body of work, like being the guy. Like, I was actually thinking about that today, like when I was at the studio, and TC was obviously, he was there before I got there, and then we go on the air, and then I'm home watching the game on my couch, and then the game ends, and then there's TC back there again. And it's like, those are
Mr. NESN.
Those are long days. Those are long nights. Like, you're making a tremendous sacrifice. I mean, wife, kids, family. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I don't get to go home after the games. Like, after the game is over, I still get to do this. Like, there's some, like, we're doing this right now. It's about midnight right now on the East Coast. But we do this twice a week. He does that every night. He does it every night. It's like, game's over, and now I got to get behind a microphone. It's like, I have a tremendous amount of respect for what he's done professionally, but like outside of his profession, like, TC is just an awesome dude. So
yeah, he's also Mr. NESN, and like, NESN is not a place that retains talent very well. And he's just been there forever. I can't remember sports without Tom Caron.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, a lot of people end up going national from NESN. That's usually what happens. It's like, you know, it's not like NESN has talent. Yeah, NESN's not a place where it's like you have talent that just disappears and isn't in the business anymore. If NESN doesn't have talent, it's because they went national. So yeah, TC being a local guy, and you can tell that he actually cares about the Red Sox. And he's like, the number one thing about him that I've noticed, not jaded. Like, it's like the idea of doing the job to him is not like, oh, I just gotta go back and do this again. Like, no, he's fucking loves it. And like, it's hard to keep that passion, I think, especially when it's baseball. Like, football, fine. Yeah, show up. You know, there's one game a week and whatever. Baseball, every day, every night. And they're long games. And you're there before the game starts, and then your game out after the game ends. Every day. So yeah, love TC.
Yeah, I don't think he gets enough credit.
No, he doesn't. Let's get TC back on the podcast. Jake, book TC. Any update or ideas for the name of the podcast? Not that name redacted isn't fire. What do you think, Pete?
I don't know. Like I don't know. It's just like until we can get the other name back, we may as well just stay fucking name redacted.
Yeah. I at least want to change like the fucking social handles and everything else to name redacted. I hate like Carrabis pod. I hate that. Hate it.
Very placeholder energy.
Yeah. And it's very like, look at me. Like, I think I'm important enough to have the whole show named after me when there's like 6 people on it. I don't like it. Yeah, I would much rather have it be name redacted, because if we can't use section 10, then I would rather have it be a like, fuck you for not letting me have section 10 than Carrabis pod. I just don't like that. So I feel like if there was a Jared Carrabis show, that show has nothing to do with baseball. That show is about Sydney Sweeney's boobs.
I'd be on that show too.
Yeah. So it was a great show.
Sign me up.
Yeah. I mentioned Jake was at my apartment earlier is because we had to try out the Win Reality virtual reality baseball training thing. Fucking awesome. It was so cool. Like I have like a virtual reality device already, but like I didn't use it for games or anything. So I can't remember if I had told this before, but it was at one of the winter weekend. Can't remember if you were there or not. You might have been there. Winter weekend after 2018, the Red Sox had, it was called like the virtual reality dugout or something like that. And you could put on the headset and you would like look around, and like they had one camera that was in the clubhouse during the World Series celebrations. So you could watch that. You put on another one and you were on the duck boat for the World Series parade. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, holy fuck, this is my duck boat. This is the one that I'm on. Like, you basically, like, I can relive the best day of my life in virtual reality. Like, this is so fucking cool. I was like, how do I get this? So when they started letting fans back in 2021, the Red Sox gave me that. And like, they loaded the footage onto it and they gave me the headset. So I have that. But I had never used it for games or anything. I feel like I would like that. I feel like I don't know why I don't do more of that. Or just like video games in general. I feel like I just need to like be doing things that aren't baseball related sometimes.
It's game.
I would love to.
Game. Let's stream.
Let's try. What games do you play that I would like to play, do you think?
I don't know. I do like mostly like Warzone and sports games.
Yeah. Like I saw like the Silent Hill, like virtual reality.
I have no interest in doing that in fucking virtual reality. Fuck that. No
that would be
chance.
so cool. Yeah, they have like a Michael Myers like virtual reality, but like I would like some shit like that.
Me and my buddies have done poker night in VR, and that's pretty sick.
Oh, yeah, I gotta figure this out. Yeah, virtual reality. I'm just gonna become virtual reality, Jared. Like I'm just not gonna live in the real world anymore. I'm out of here. I'm just doing straight up virtual reality.
Like you live in the real world now.
Yeah, no, I don't. I really don't. So Jake comes over. We set up the Win Reality headset, and I'm just massacring fastballs off of. So people are like, "What game is this?" And it's not a game. It's a training tool for baseball players. Like it's not like there's no like point system. It just tells you like, this is how many swings you took. This is how many pitches you swung at in the strike zone. This is how many pitches you swung at out of the strike zone. This is like you were early, how many times you were early, how many times you were late. So it starts off as like you get 10 pitches, fastballs right down the middle, all strikes. So you get your timing down. Then it's like, all right, now we're going to give you 10 fastballs, but some are going to be balls. So like you have to be able to like see which ones are out of the strike zone. And then on the third one, it's like, all right, now we're going to do fastballs, changeups, curveballs, whatever. So that's when it gets a little tricky, but I obviously still dominated. But I did have it set to 10 and under. I think he was 10 years old, but he was throwing like 55 from, what is the amount? Like, what is it? 40 feet? I think like it's 60 feet, 6 inches on a big league diamond. But I think like at that level, it's, I think it's like 40 something feet. Look that up, Jake. I think it's like 40 something feet. and he's throwing 55. So that's basically like 98. And I was just crushing homers off this 10-year-old. So yeah, Win Reality, the VR baseball training application available on the MetaQuest 2 that gives players access to unlimited game speed reps no matter where they are. You can even use your own bat. We have the attachment. You can put it on the bat. I'm going to put it on a lighter bat so I can still just like absolutely crush homers. Win Reality pitcher library consists of 600 pitches from 8 and under to pro. From the release, the spin to the speed, hitters get the chance to study every pitch and then hit in the real game. Win Reality gives players of all levels a variety of workouts that are focused on pitch recognition, timing, and decision making. Win Reality is used by a majority of MLB teams, including NL MVP frontrunner Paul Goldschmidt. It's also used by hundreds of colleges across the nation. Hitters love it. Coaches rave about it. Parents love what it has done for their players' enjoyment of baseball. Win Reality isn't a game. Like I said, it's a revolutionary tool that improves hitting in the real game of baseball, in season, off season, and in any weather. Hitters can see increased confidence and improvement at the plate. Win Reality allows players to train anywhere, anytime against game speed pitches with their coaches and teammates. They can't replicate that in practice. Train in here and improve their game out there. Players who train with Win Reality acquire skills 7 times faster than traditional training methods. And if you'd like to get in on the mix, head to winreality.com/Jared, Jared, to sign up today. I loved it. That's definitely something that I'm going to be doing all off season in my spare time. Just waking up, just like Doug Mirabelli, just fucking standing there in my underwear, just taking hacks. Dougie's going deep tonight. Imagine if Doug Mirabelli had training like that. How many homers he would? What do you think? What do you think, Pete? What was Doug Mirabelli's career high in homers? I'm going to tell you right now, off the top of my head, that his career high in homers was in 2003. But how many do you think it was?
Single season. I'm gonna say 13.
I was wrong. It was 2001. It was 11. I was about to guess like 20 something homers.
It was 11.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Why do I feel like Doug Mirabelli had like a monster fucking season one year?
I mean, no, 11's not even a lot for a backup catcher. Like, I don't know. Like, he did hit tanks. Maybe
he did.
Maybe as a kid, it just felt like those tank jobs counted for 2 or 3.
I think it was the no batting gloves thing. And then when he hit him, he socked him.
Yeah. A lot like Christian Vasquez in that regard.
Yeah.
Where if he got a hold of it, he got a hold of it.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of cheapies.
Right. The Woo Sox asked, why haven't you made it to a Woo Sox game yet? I want to go. Are they still playing games? They're in the playoffs? Should we go to the Woo Sox game, Pete? Would you go with me? I feel like you wouldn't go.
I would go with if I got paintball taken away.
Just one?
Yeah.
All right. That's a fair trade.
Cool. Then yeah, the answer is yeah. I would go.
All right. That was an easy one. Yeah, I would love to go to a Woo Sox game. Yeah, it's not a matter of not wanting to go. I want to go. But I want to make content while we're there. So I'm trying to like line something up. I've been in contact with a couple people at the Woo Sox, and like I want to go there and I want to see their facility. All the players are raving about it. They're like, yeah, like this is the real deal. As far as the minor leagues go, if you go to a Woo Sox game, like you're getting the real deal as a player. So I want to see that.
You should ask him, instead of throwing out the first pitch, you should ask him if you can fire the first paintball. I'll stand at home plate with my shirt off, and you can shoot me in the chest with a paintball gun instead of throwing a first pitch.
What if I miss and just fucking smoke someone in the face that's in the front row?
Well, that's part of the deal that'd be a problem. That's part of the deal that I don't know. We have to discuss when the time comes is like, do you get 16 shots?
I think we've already discussed this. I think it's 16 hits.
Okay. All right. I just needed to put that out there.
I want to say that you've agreed to this verbally on a previous podcast.
I definitely have. I just didn't recall if it was like 16 paintballs or 16.
Am I wrong about this, Jake? Did he say 15 shots or 15 hits?
No, I think they all need to make contact.
All right. That's all. I was just curious. Wasn't trying to snake out of it.
That's the integrity in you.
Mm-hmm.
I think the one thing that we need to negotiate that we haven't is what's the distance? 10 feet?
I mean, 10 feet is fucking close, dude. I think that the distance from a pitcher's mound to home plate
60 feet 6 inches. That's perfect.
Yeah. That seems fair. What are you saying, Jake?
Well, I mean, is it going to be like a sniper rifle or like a? Because if we get a long
Paintball guns
range,
fucking fire pretty hard.
Yeah, they do.
but I mean,
60 feet away.
If we get a high powered one from 60 feet, it's going to feel like 10.
That's true. I thought you were arguing that we're moving too far away. You're actually looking out for me.
Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate you. I don't know. We're gonna have to handle the logistics.
We'll have to like consult an expert, a paintball expert. So I don't know if there are any out there that will offer up their services to us, but that would be nice. You know, we'll see. All right. Do we, is there any other, fucking Garrett Whitlock getting hip surgery totally just slipped through the cracks. I saw that today. That news came out yesterday. Did you see that today or yesterday, Jake?
I saw that last night, I think.
Yeah. Garrett Whitlock. I mean, I don't know. I don't have much to say on it other than, yeah, it makes sense because I mean, I saw the reports that he was walking around like an elderly person. And then I don't know. There's something up with that. I don't know why at that point, given where the season's at, that you would try and fight through that. And then obviously now we're at where he's getting hip surgery. But I don't want another fucking season of like, is he going to start? Is he not going to start? Just please keep him in the fucking bullpen. Please. Like it's not like it wasn't a huge sample size, but it wasn't a small one either with Whitlock in the rotation. I just didn't. It's not even about like the runs that he gave up. It was I've said this a ton of times. It was the drop off in stuff was so substantial that why, like, if you were to just point blank ask someone the question, do you want an elite relief pitcher or do you want a mediocre starter? Which one do you want? Who the fuck is taking mediocre starter? You can get one of those guys anywhere. You can't get elite relievers anywhere, especially ones that you're paying what they're paying Garrett Whitlock. Like, look, I mean, it's an extreme example, but like, look at what they paid Aroldis Chapman in New York. That's a fuck ton of money for a reliever who now sucks. Like, you have an elite, much younger reliever in Garrett Whitlock. Yeah, that's what I would sign up for. So hopefully they make the right decision. I don't trust them to do that because they already made the wrong decision. So who fucking knows? But Garrett Whitlock had hip surgery. Great. Good, great, grand, wonderful. Were there any other news items with the Red Sox, Jake? Are there anything going on? Not really.
Not really, besides our watch party coming up.
Oh yeah. Friday night. Cask and Flagging, me, Jake, Pat. Did Pat said he was 100% doing it, and then when we put out the tweet for it, he said maybe.
No, I think he said maybe he'd pay for everyone's drinks, but he's going to be there.
Oh, okay. Tyler will be there, and he has promised to get the drunkest that he's ever been in his life, he said. Red Sox, Yankees. You know what the other thing is, too, that I forget who mentioned this today. It's going to be an Apple TV game at the Cask. Like, do they have Apple TV at the Cask?
Yeah, I emailed them. They got it.
You asked them about it?
Yep.
Okay. Because I was like, this is one of those things where I put it in the back of my mind, like, I know I need to make this a known thing. We can't just like walk in there day out and be like, oh yeah, by the way, it's on Apple TV. So you guys are gonna have to get that on every TV in here. So that's good. That's good that we have that under control. Friday, me, Tyler, Jake, Pat. Who else is on the show? That's it, right?
Yeah,
Pete's got a wedding. Pete's at a wedding. But other than that, we're all going to be there. It's not a live show. It's just, it's a watch party. We're going to be, which is almost like, at this point, it's better. Trust me. That's the better option. A live show, those are electric when the Red Sox are good. But when they're bad, we just want to hang out with you guys, have some blue moons, watch the game, and see Yankee Twitter absolutely meltdown if Aaron Judge hits 61 or 62 for the Apple TV broadcast, which it's not a shot at them. It's just that obviously they would prefer Michael K for that call. I don't blame him. Like Ortiz's 500th home run, that was Orsillo on the call. If that was like a Fox Saturday game, I'd be like, fuck. I would feel the same way. So hopefully it happens on Friday.
I was a little upset that John Boy made such a cool video with the Judge and Stanton home runs this morning.
He did
put out a video like setting it to the theme and like the style of Moneyball, and it was so cool.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Yeah, it was a great video. I was really upset about it.
Huh. I'll have to check that out. I haven't seen Jimmy in a while. I love those guys. They were here for Red Sox Yankees before the All-Star break, back when Alex Verdugo broke Clay Holmes, who's still broken, by the way. Gave up that 3-run shot Yankee Stadium to the Pittsburgh Pirates of all teams. Not great. All right, you want to do a little Stop and Shop look ahead and then fucking go to bed?
Hell yeah, brother.
Fuck yeah. All right. The Stop and Shop look ahead. Brought to you by Stop and Shop. Game 1, Thursday. It's a 4-game set in Yankee Stadium. The Red Sox are 6-9.
Nice.
Against the Yankees this year with a negative 27 run differential, but that's because a couple blowout losses. That'll do it to you. Michael Wacha versus Jameson Taillon, who I jinxed. I cursed him the night that I threw out the first pitch. I cursed the mound before his start, and I will not lift that curse. I refuse. Wacha versus Taillon. That game will be on Fox. 7:15 Thursday. Rich Hill versus Garrett Cole. That's the Friday game. That one's on Apple TV. Nick Pivetta versus Domingo Germán. Noted piece of shit. Domingo Germán. That game, Saturday, is at 1:05. Brian Bayo takes the mound in the finale versus Nestor Cortez. That game is 7:05. It is fucking Sunday Night Baseball, which means Sunday night we're going to do the podcast and start at 1 o'clock in the morning. It's going to suck. So Pete, you're probably out on that one?
Not necessarily.
So maybe for Pete. Okay. All right. Nestor versus Bayo. 7:05 Sunday Night Baseball. Jameson Taillon. He's having an okay year. 13-5, a 4.04 ERA, a 1.13 WHIP, 7.5 strikeouts per 9. He only has 3 games all year with more than 2 walks. Pretty good. Oh yeah, by the way, the someone on the Section 10 Reddit pointed out one of the notes that I had in here via Connor was the dude that pitched in the first game against the Reds. I was like, yeah, this guy fucking hits everyone. He hit 3 Red Sox hitters in that game. I was like, yeah, be on the lookout for this guy to drill someone. He literally hits everybody. He hit 3 Red Sox batters in that game. The Yankees are 21-8 when Taillon starts this year. They also score 6 runs a game when he's on the mound. He's faced the Red Sox 3 times already this season. He has a 5 ERA against them. 15 hits and 10 earned runs, 5 homers allowed in 18 innings. Red Sox have won 2 out of the 3 times that he's pitched against them. Devers 4 for 11 with a couple homers. Tommy Pham 7 for 17, 3 doubles with an OPS over 1,000. Garrett Cole, my buddy, 12-7, 3.41 ERA, a 103 WHIP, and an 11.6 strikeouts per 9. He leads the American League this year in home runs allowed. What a fucking bum. The amount of money that the Yankees pay this guy to give up more home runs than any other pitcher who plays the sport is pathetic. You're a loser. He's 2 home runs away from tying his career high of 31. So rest assured, he's going to tie his career high against the Red Sox on Friday. He gave up 3 home runs his last time against the Red Sox? Fucking Xander, Casas, and who was the other one, Jake? Reese.
Yep.
Reese McGuire. He's allowed multiple home runs in 7 games. The Yankees are 5-2 in those games, by the way. His 1.4 home runs per 9 is 0.4 higher than his career number of 1.0. It is tied for the second worst number of his career. He's made 30 plus starts in 5 straight seasons. Good for him. He has his worst ERA since 2017. That was his last year at Pittsburgh before he started cheating. He has a 3.40 FIP, which is much higher than his career 3.12. He's allowed 4 earned runs in back-to-back starts. He's got a 4.58 ERA and a 5.09 FIP in September. Bum. He's faced the Red Sox 4 times this year. The Yankees are somehow 4-0 in these games. But Garrett Cole has a 5.48 ERA in those games with a 1 WHIP and a 12.5 strikeouts per 9. 17 hits, 14 earned runs, 7 home runs, and 6 walks in 23 innings. The Yankees are 19-11 when he starts, despite his 5.4 runs of support. He's getting hit extremely hard this year, 19th percent in barrel percentage, 29th percentile in average exit velocity. The 89.2 average exit velocity is the second worst of his career. Devers, 8 for 30, 6 home runs against Garrett Cole. Bogey's got 3 home runs now. Sneaky. Everyone talks about Devers against Garrett Cole, but Bogey has taken him deep now 3 times. And I don't even know if that counts the wild card game. So it might be 4. Let's just call it 4. JD also has a couple home runs against Garrett Cole. Domingo Germán. This is his 5th season in Major League Baseball, and he's never had a strikeouts per 9 worse than 9 in the first 4. This season, it is 6.4. Strikeouts are down. His 3.12 ERA looks good, but the 4.20 FIP tells the real story. He stinks. His last appearance was out of the bullpen, and the time before that, he was an opener who threw an inning. He faced the Red Sox once this year, 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run in a no decision, a game that the Red Sox would go on to win. The Yankees are 5-7 when he pitches. In 2017, he came up throwing 96.3 miles per hour. Last year, he was throwing 93.4, and this year it is down to 92.7. Verdugo, 4 for 11, couple doubles and a homer. Bogart, 6 for 20, couple doubles and a homer. And then in the finale, we have Nestor Cortez, 10-4, a 2.67 ERA, an 0.97 WHIP, and 9.1 strikeouts per 9. He's coming back from an injury, so the Yankees are building him back up slowly. He's thrown 58, 65, and now 87 pitches in his first 3 starts since returning. He has a 2.30 ERA in 13 starts at Yankee Stadium this year. The Red Sox own his ass, though. 5.19 ERA against the Red Sox, a 1.73 WHIP. 11 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 homers in 8 2/3 innings. The Yankees somehow won both of these games. They are 17-9 when he starts. Devers, 3 for 11, couple doubles, couple homers. And then Ref Snyder, 5 for 8 with a double, 1375 OPS. So there you go. And by the way, people were asking, obviously, about Aaron Judge in this series. Aaron Judge is 0 for 14 with 1 walk and 9 strikeouts against Michael Wacha. Yeah. So
Walk Daddy.
That's going to be the matchup that everyone's talking about on Thursday. Is he going to hit 61 against the Red Sox on Thursday? Again, that is 0 for 14 with 9 strikeouts against Michael Wacha. But I'm sure there's some fucking slap dick in the bullpen that'll come up there and groove one right down the cock to old Aaron. So if you're hoping for a homer on Friday, just wait until Wacha's 7 shutout innings are complete and you might have a chance. Prediction time. By the way, I was correct on my Cincinnati Reds split prediction. I'm shooting for like points now. Before I was trying to get cute with it and be like, yeah, I'm going to say that the Red Sox win fucking 2 out of 3, or I'm going to say that they win 3 out of 4, or I'm going to say that they're going to sweep. I was trying to get cute with it. Now I'm coming for that ass. I don't even know where we are. I think his name is Nick, I believe. Sorry, Nick. I know we've tweeted a lot. I think it's Nick with no K that does the. He keeps track of our predictions, and I'm coming for blood. Like I wanna get back in the. I think I have to win out. I think I have to win out for a chance to tie.
I have a question about the scoring.
Proceed.
I know that like he highlights when we get it right, and I know that there's like a percentage of I think it's the percentage of picks that we get right attributed to each person.
It should be, yeah. But it's just points. I think it's just like whoever gets the most. Like if you're not here, it's your fault.
No. I get that, but like, is the point system tallied by like, say you predict the Sox are going to take 2 out of 3. If they sweep, do you get 2 out of 3 possible points, or do you is it all or nothing?
I think it's all or nothing. I think it's just if you get it correct, then it's a point.
All right. Well, I think that if we're going to continue this into next season, we have to change the scoring system. It's too late now, but
then it would change like you could just pick sweep every time and just collect points, even if you're wrong all the time.
Yeah, but I think that it's like the percentage of points. Like so,
but what if you predict sweep? If you predict sweep, you get points every time. Then
yeah, but you get
unless
points,
they get swept,
you get points by guessing that they're going to lose too. Like if they lose those games, you get those points. You know, like you can say sweep every time, but if they only win one game, you're getting 1 out of a possible 3 points. Whereas if you were to pick them winning 1 out of 3 games, you would get 3 out of 3 points.
Yeah. But it's almost like you're wagering. It's almost like you're wagering though. Because like if I say 2 out of 3 and then it's 2 out of 3, then I only get 2 points.
No, you get 3 points because you correctly guessed the loss.
Oh. We'll have to figure that out.
Like that's the way that the scoring should work in terms of like getting credit for correct guesses.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to figure out a point system. The next year I'm going to try. I started to try once the results were
next
posted.
year we have to have like a grand prize at the end of the year for the winner. Have some like stakes to it.
Maybe we'll get Omaha Steaks as a sponsor. Ooh. And then you just win a bunch of steaks.
I would fucking be all out for that shit.
Did we had Omaha Steaks, right, Jake? Right this year?
Yeah, we had them earlier.
Yeah. Like we're raising the stakes this year with Omaha Steaks.
Hell yeah.
That'd be great.
Last place has to get slapped in the face with a steak.
It's still frozen.
Yeah.
So it's like a brick.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I could see that. All right. 4-game series against the New York Yankees in the Bronx. Aaron Judge going for 61. Jake, what do you got?
I think the Red Sox are going to sweep because it'd be the most 2022 Red Sox thing of all time to sweep the Yankees when it just doesn't matter at all.
That's a good point. That is a good point. Peter.
I was going to say sweep to troll. Jake does make a good point that would be extremely fitting, but I'm more going to stick with the trend of just saying that they split. I think 2 out of 4, they'll find a way to fuck a couple of them up, or they'll get blown out in one and they'll fuck up another one. And then they'll get like two pretty impressive wins that you can't even feel good about.
I think also if we do this next year for a prize, then I can't text Coley and be like, what's your pick? Because if you're not here, why should you get points? Unless they count as like half points. I don't know.
I mean, we could always have just like a guest picker and have it not count towards the count towards the standings.
See, I was going to go split, but now that Pete said split, I don't know if I can go split. And I don't know if I feel 3 out of 4. I don't know if I feel a sweep in either direction. Let me look at these matchups again. Waukatayon. I feel like that's a win. I'm getting a phone call right now from, should I answer and put him on the air?
Who is it?
Donaldson. I'll call him back. We're almost done. Waka. All right, I'm gonna say 1 out of 4. All right. Apparently, I get to answer this call. Don't know what it's about, but I'll get back to you. We'll see you on Monday morning. We'll see you at the party on Friday. We'll see you at the party at Cask and Flagon, 7 p.m. Red Sox, Yankees. Be there. Everyone's going to be there. Enjoy your weekend of Red Sox baseball. We'll hope to see you on Friday. If not, we'll catch you back here on Monday morning for the podcast. Bye.
Buenas noches, amigos.